Hello, I'm Andy Brassell, talkSPORT's European football expert, and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about Euro 2024, which, of course, will be live to listen to on talkSPORT. Now it's time to stick my neck out. Who are going to be the big winners and maybe losers in Euro 2024? My biggest surprise of the tournament, I think I'm going to have to go for Hungary. Now, Hungarian football was almost reborn at Euro 2020. Of course, they hosted a couple of games in Budapest. I was there and the atmosphere was absolutely extraordinary in one of the cradles of European football. And what do they have on their side? They have a very experienced coach in Marco Rossi, who's not got a glorious career, but he's done brilliantly with Hungary and has been there for over 6 years now. So he knows his team and his players so well. They're brilliantly drilled. They were good at the last Euros. They've improved tournament on tournament since. They were great in the Nations League. They did really well in qualifying, going unbeaten, coming into this tournament. And this time, unlike in Euro 2020, they have a fit and firing captain in Dominik Szoboszlai. So I think they could catch a few people on the hop. And I think that they'll qualify from their group along with Germany. Biggest disappointment? I hate to say it, it might be Spain. Of course, so intriguing and interesting with that 8-goal thriller, particularly against Croatia in the last Euros. But a lot of water has gone under the bridge since then. Of course, Luis Enrique ran aground at the last World Cup when they didn't even get out of the groups, which was an extraordinary shock, really. And Luis de la Fuente has never felt like the man to take them forward, to develop them, to make them better. And they're in this sort of halfway place at the moment between having some good older players and some very, very good younger players. I always think you're only as good as your senior players. And the senior players, maybe it's unfair to compare them to the generation of Xavi, of Iniesta, of Puyol, of Busquets, all of those. But it's inevitable when you're talking about Spain. They're nowhere near that level. And I think they might get caught by a few really good teams in this tournament. Player of the tournament? Well, we've talked a lot about the big stars, about the Kanes, the Mbappes, but you know what? I think Portugal will do really well in this tournament, and the guy they've spoken about quietly in Portugal, being their best player for a very long time now, is Bernardo Silva. Ever since the 2018 World Cup, where they were talking about the eventual successor to being the best player in Portugal after Cristiano Ronaldo, they were talking about Bernardo Silva. And he's so versatile. You've seen him be used as a number 10, as a number 8, on the right wing, on the left wing, and he's someone who doesn't need physical power or anything like that. He's a smart car sneaking in between all the Ferraris. And I think whatever happens to Portugal, he's going to be at the centre of it. Goodness knows, at the last World Cup, we even saw him playing defensive midfield for a bit. And I think with a coach and Roberto Martinez, who knows to trust him, he will do so well in this tournament. And I think this is the moment where he almost has his Luka Modric in 2018 moment. He's the little guy who will finally get his flowers. So for the winner of Euro 2024, I've got France. I think you have to look at the quality of players they've got. You have to go back to the last World Cup where all the difficulties that they faced in Qatar in 2022, all the injury dropouts, the early injury to Lucas Hernandez in the first 10 minutes of that tournament, it really accelerated the development of all those other players who thought they wouldn't be needed until later on. And they've continued that in the qualifying campaign. So we can look to Tchouaméni, we can look to Eduardo Camavinga, we can look to Marcus Thuram and all those sort of players, but other ones that have come in, like Youssouf Fofana of Monaco in midfield, who I do think will pitch up in the Premier League in the near future as well. You look at those players, and Kylian Mbappe has got a beyond brilliant supporting cast. That's before we get to Antoine Griezmann, who was forced into that midfield role in 2022, and it's been the rebirth of his career. Okay, they've got a few little defensive foibles that could catch them out. They rode that out with a bit of luck in the quarter-final of the last World Cup against England. But you know what? Even then, they knew how to dig in and get the game won. We should be talking about the world champions. In a month or so's time, we will be talking about the European champions. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you stay engaged with talkSPORT all summer as we bring you all the news and stories from Germany.